All right, everybody, welcome back to the Crew Talk episode 4. Today I have one of my homeboys from high school, David Bartholomew IV. He graduated from Air Force Academy and he's a second lieutenant in the Air Force right now. So yeah, David, let's just talk about your story, where you're from, and how you got to be here.
So I'm from New Orleans, went to St. Aug, and I kind of, St. Aug is kind of where I found myself in a way. Like I kind of went into St. Aug, after moving around a lot after Katrina, I kind of had so many different, I guess backgrounds. I didn't really know what my identity was, but once I went to St. Aug, it helped me identify, who I am as a black man, and also found my little niche in sports.
Yeah.
Never thought I would be a punter, but that ended up working out. And then I just applied to the Air Force Academy and other schools. I actually did not want to go to the academy at first. I kind of wanted to go to Tuskegee and live that, regular college experience.
Yeah.
Go to the HBCU, live it up like that. But got another plan. So I got accepted to the academy, and the rest is history.
So most people during the military is like way left field for them. Like, what was your inspiration to like even apply there?
So first of all, I knew nothing about what the Air Force Academy was. It's it was kind of like I would see the Navy Army game on TV and think like they were literally playing, overseas, like just having a game like
so
that.
foreign. Yeah.
So it's funny. I actually found out about the academy through NCAA, like the football game,
Okay.
the video game.
Yeah.
I was looking, I was like, what is Air Force? And then I went, there was the Army and Navy, so I Googled it. And I was like, hold up, they pay you to go to school? Like, for 4 years, they pay you to go to school.
So everyone goes.
Yeah, everybody goes for free. We all get paid.
Wow.
So I was just like, wow. So I applied. And I went on a visit junior year, and I visited Navy. And I just fell in love with Air Force. I was like, this is an amazing school. And mind you, you only see what they want you to see on a visiting trip. Like,
of course.
I fell in love with what I saw. And I applied, and my mom basically was like, if you go to Tuskegee, because those were my two choices, Tuskegee and Air Force. She said, if you go to Tuskegee, you want to be an aeronautical engineer, so like that will be great. But if you change your major, then your degree won't mean as much.
Yeah.
But she said you can go to the Air Force Academy and major in anything you want, and that degree will always hold weight.
Yeah.
So that held it down. And once I got accepted, I got in touch with the football coaches. And that kind of sealed the deal when they said that I could play for the team. Now, obviously, that story was rocky once I got there, but just to get my foot in the door, it was good to be able to know that I could play football again.
I remember when we were in high school and you were doing like the application. You were so passionate about it that you wanted to go to Air Force like the entire time you were growing up. But that's a pretty interesting story. That it was kind of like a random whim.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I would look so passionate wasn't, don't get me wrong, I was passionate about it.
Yeah.
But it's not like you just submit an application and then 5 minutes later, like, you click submit. Me and my mom were working on the application from, I think, June of going into senior year, and we wrapped it up around September.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because you have to get a congressional nomination, you have to get your physical, and you have to do a lot of things. For the process, do a background check and all this stuff in order to even get your foot in the door.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and on top of that, right before I was reported, they told me I couldn't come because remember, I don't know if you remember, but like, I think it was playoffs when I was kicked off and I hurt my knee.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I got an MRI for that, and it was just a hyperextension. But they saw that I got an MRI and were scared that I couldn't do anything, so they called me the day before and were like, "Yeah, we can't accept you for basic training."
Damn.
So I called my congressman and he was able to, work that out to where I can go. But it's just either,
That's nerve wracking.
Yeah.
Like the last minute, you did what, 4 months worth of stuff to get in?
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
then on top of that, I already told my other schools like I'm not gonna go. So
Yeah.
I was already, all my eggs were in that basket already. So
It was like, I know you say you talked to the congressman, like get his like approval and stuff. Is that like a hard process to like get in contact and do that kind of stuff?
It depends. So I contacted a lot of congressmen and nobody really responded. But the person I got in contact with was Congressman Richmond.
Okay.
And his views are kind of or not kind of, but his views are great on trying to get African Americans from New Orleans into that school because
it was perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that worked out a lot. My brother just got accepted into the school too, so he's there now with the same congressman. So that works out.
How's he liking so far?
He's same thing I was feeling like he's at the prep school just like I went.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who don't know, if you don't have a high enough ACT score or they find something kind of like iffy in your academics, you go to the prep school.
Okay.
Which is the Air Force Academy Preparatory School for a year, and then you go to the academy. Mm-hmm. But you kind of have to earn your ticket there from the prep school. But he's there now. He just texted me. He was like, "Bro, I don't know how you did it." Like, because you go from being one of the smartest kids in high school to where like you just feel dumb.
Number.
Yes, you're sitting in class. All right, here's your C. Like, what? Another one? Like a D, a C. It's like at the end of the day, you just start welcoming. All right, at least it's not a fail. Like,
yeah, just whatever I can get right.
Because the average usually is around like a 2.5. It's kind of like 2.5, 2.6 GPA.
Jeez.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we sit, and it's crazy too. Cause like, well, me and my roommate would get back. Like, are you on ACT Pro? No, I'm not on academic probation. You are? No, so we're good then. Like it's crazy how it's set up like that though.
I mean, I guess the GPA doesn't matter as much because like once you leave the academy, like you have the job set up.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like a moral strike.
That, but it's also like it was. I wanted to shoot for above a 2.9. I didn't get that, but I wanted to shoot for it because it's like I wanted to get into a really top grad school, like MBA, like to get my MBA. So my thing with that was, you can't just always use the Air Force Academy's name because, like, if I'm trying to get to a top program like that, I'm going against people from Yale and Harvard and stuff like that. So where it's like, well, yeah, I went to the academy, but my GPA is this, and he's like, well, I got a guy from Yale with a 4.0, so what you want me to do?
Yeah. So I definitely feel you on that. Like I guess like I feel like so many people are going to college now that like the real competitive thing now is grad school.
Exactly.
And you have so many people in college with 4.0s and 3.8s and stuff going like to these crazy places. It's like, but then what else do I have?
Exactly. And it's just tough though because it's one of those things to where like, and I'm not knocking on any Ivy Leagues or anything like that, but it's just like I know my experience was different than
definitely
because like even with like you played football, I ultimately did rugby, and it was just like okay, I would my schedule was wake up at 6. Go to morning formation, go to breakfast, go to classes. We had classes from, I think it was like 7:30 to 3, so like a regular high school day. Mandatory lunch formation. After that, 4 o'clock was rugby practice, and then around 7 o'clock was military training time again. And then I didn't get to start my homework until like usually 8:30, and by that time, like, you work on it from like 8:30 to almost midnight, and then you start it all over again.
Yeah, it's like no break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So. Don't get me. I mean, we had our breaks sometimes, but the majority of the time, like this summer, I have never slept more in my life. Like after graduation, I slept my life away. It felt great.
You definitely need that. So I guess for like people who are listening or watching this that don't really know too much about like the military like training and like regiment and stuff like that, can you tell us more about like the basic training and like the regiment or daily stuff that you have to do?
Yeah. So. Basic training was, it was tough, but it's like a weird environment because, everybody's yelling at you. You can never do anything right. Like, even if you do something right, they still find something to, like, get on you for. But basic training is where I truly created the best friendships and bonds because it's like everybody's getting just dogged on. Like, everybody's getting yelled at. And at the end of the day, you build that team mentality to where it's like, okay, for example, if we're going for a 2-mile run, and it's like, I know, like, if I could run fast as heck on this 2-mile run, it doesn't matter because I still got people behind me that I got to go back for and get.
Yeah.
So that was pretty dope, trying to, like, seeing how that happens, like, how that comes together. And it was also cool seeing how, from New Orleans, I didn't really have white friends. I didn't really, like, St. Augustine, that was kind of all I had.
Yeah.
So going to an environment like that, it's like, it makes you become friends with people you never thought you would ever hang out with, like, on a daily basis. And, you get passionate about things, but ultimately it's just like a shock and awe, though, because I go from a place like New Orleans, really low-key chill, to an advanced place like that. And a lot of people don't know this, but the second day of basic training, I was ready to leave. Like I was like, look, sir, this ain't for me. Like I gotta go. And then ultimately, like, you know, a whole bunch of people talked to me, and they were just like, no, this, like, we need y'all here. Like we need your people. Like we need you here.
This is like upper level people. Like
yeah, these are so basic training is run by other cadets.
Okay.
But once you get to like the wanting to leave part, that's when you're talking to the actual Air Force officers that are in charge of the school.
Yeah.
And I had people just talking to me constantly saying like, you can't leave. Like this is something to where basic training will not be your experience here. It's literally a blip of the rest of the time here. And it's true because I barely remember basic training right now.
Wow.
And during that time, you think that's all your life would consist of.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm blessed to where I didn't quit, because if I quit, I know that would have been a decision I would have regretted for the rest of my life.
I feel that. One of the guys, when I was at Yale, I was in society, and this guy, he was in like the ROTC program at Yale, and he basically like wanted to become a Marine because his dad was a Marine, and he did some kind of like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like a 2-month thing over the summer between our junior and senior year, and it was like a basic training kind of thing.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And he did that, and he was like, I think he had some kind of leg injury that was going to keep him from going, but he didn't tell them. And he was talking about like how hard he was, like for the average person, he already had this injury, and he was saying it was like the hardest thing he had ever done in his life. And it was kind of similar to yours about waking up and then going to sleep at a certain time, and basically like there's no room for anything else. And I was like, I thought football was hard with having to wake up at 6 a.m. to go to practice and then go to class, but we didn't have anything in between. If you didn't have class that day, you had the day off. So
don't let me fool you. I feel like, yeah, ours was hard, but when you're talking about Marines and stuff, like I have a different level of respect for it, because it's just like, because there's always that, you know, that different branch rivalry, like, oh, we hate Navy or we hate Army, but like at the end of the day, you have to, you know, give them the respect. Because I was talking, we had an exchange cadet from, or they call him the shipman, from Navy. Like he split the semester with us, and he was going through the same Marine process. And I was talking to him, I was like, there's no way I could have done that. Like what you are doing is just unreal, because I mean we're in the Air Force, so ultimately it's like more of that, not saying that they're not smart, but it's more of that intelligence side of things, where like, you know, we're behind the desk, like on the computers, or, you know, trying to fly the planes and stuff like that, whereas they're actually, no kidding, boots on the ground.
Yeah, like physical.
So the stuff that they went through, I was just like, this is unreal.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
I feel like if I remember correctly, he was basically saying that for the entire 2 months, I think it was either 60 days or 30 days, but he was only getting like 4 hours of sleep each day. And I was like, and there was sometimes with like certain, I guess like cadets or, probably cadets had to like stay up all night and like keep watch, and like they would rotate.
Yeah, that's how it was. Like so I went through 2 basics. So I went through an 18-day one at the prep school, and then we all had to go through it again for the actual academy, which is 6 weeks. And we had, I can't remember the names. It was like phase 1 and phase 2, and phase 2, or beast 1 and beast 2. And for second beast, we were outside in like the tents and stuff for like 3 weeks. And basically, each squadron had to keep watch. So like, we would wake up. We had rotation. So like, me and my partner would wake up at like 2 a.m. And then keep watch for like an hour and a half, and go back to sleep. Mind you, we went to sleep around 10. Got to wake up at 4. So it's kind of like,
it's not that much time.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's crazy. So I know you said you talked to like the actual like people in the Air Force, like when you wanted to leave. Like at the end of the day, like what actually made you stay? Like was it more so like a personal thing, or
so you
like,
want to know the truth?
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so there's 2 reasons why I stayed. This should be my big reason, but it's actually my small reason. My grandfather was drafted, and he basically called me almost with tears in his eyes, saying like, you have an opportunity to do something that none of us have ever done. Like, you're gonna be a black officer. And he was like, back in my day, I couldn't even imagine me putting on lieutenant bars. And I was like, that sounds cool and all, but this is hard. And my still was like ready to go. So then my mom called after a few curse words. She was like, you know what? You can come home, but if you come home, I'm meeting you at the airport. Whatever can fit in a Walmart bag from your room will fit in it, and you're on your own. And I was like, you know what? I think staying here is not too bad.
Yeah.
Shoot, so
That reality check real quick.
exactly. But going off of what my grandfather said, when I graduated, I have never cried more in my life, bro.
Yeah.
Like when they put those lieutenant bars on me, and I feel like I'm getting chills right now thinking of it, because you never see, like, kind of what I was saying before this, like, you never see that graduating moment.
Yeah.
But once you graduate, it's like, because you have a commissioning ceremony the day before graduation, and then you have graduation. So the commissioning ceremony is when I actually become an officer. So like my grandfather, my family pinned me on, and then my grandfather gave me my first salute, because he was enlisted, and I'm an officer, so he gave me my first salute. And like,
I bet that was crazy.
What he did was, like, he has a cane. He went on stage, basically gave his cane to somebody else, and like walked gingerly to me, saluted me, and when he saluted me, bro, tears just flowed.
That's a moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Tears flow. And then the next day, when you're at graduation, like, President Trump spoke, and I don't care what people say, your views, whatever, like, whatever, however you view them, it's a different feeling when the president of the United States is, like, at your graduation.
I mean, obviously, some people like him, some people don't.
Exactly. But it's just bro, you gotta, no matter what, you gotta respect the office. Like, shaking, when I look at it, I can't say anything bad or good about it, it's because of where I'm at, like, Air Force wise, but no matter my views on it, it was just like, when I shook his hand, I was like, I'm shaking the president's hand.
Yeah.
Like, I saluted the president. Like, to me, that was dope.
Yeah.
But after that, you know what the Thunderbirds are?
That's one of the planes that fly over?
Yeah, so, like, when they flew over, we threw our hats up, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is it. Like, I was screaming, jumping up and down. Like, I have never felt that experience before, and I feel like I would never feel that again in my life. Like, that was a once-in-a-lifetime moment.
I feel like stories like this are things that, like, people hear, the everyday people don't get to come across. It's like, dude graduated from the Air Force and got to shake the president's hand. People here, they think of playing sports, or like they're just working an everyday job.
Yeah.
And stuff like this, like here, I feel like if you would have heard about that before, it probably would have made you more excited, like been able to drive you to do it a little bit harder. Just because, like, the presence of, like, knowing things like this, and just, like, having, like, inspiration to, like, step out of your comfort zone and do stuff like this is really what all it takes.
And that's kind of, so I had a mentor, the only other person to graduate from St. Aug and go to the academy. His name was Krewe.
Okay.
So he kind of helped me through it, and he graduated from St. Aug, I think, in '96. But he told me about it, and I was like, yeah, I mean, like, somebody telling you about it didn't really, because, again, it's still hard to see it. But
Exactly.
Freshman year, I went to the graduation, and Obama was speaking at that graduation. So, like, I was watching Obama speak at I think it was the class of 16's graduation, and I was just in awe.
This is freshman year?
Yeah, this is my freshman year at the academy.
Okay.
So I was just in awe, like, they have Obama.
Yeah.
Speaking at their president, they're shaking Obama's hand, like.
That's fine.
And then Obama made it, like, when he talked, he was just like, yeah, I walked through Vandenberg Hall, like, I saw Mitchell Hall where y'all eat. I can't believe y'all eat this stuff, like. And I was just like, I was like, this man walked our halls, like, what? Like, just, it was crazy. And so I think at that moment is when I was like, okay, I need to graduate. I need to do this, like, now. I need to graduate. So that was a great motivator to see Obama speak. And I was in shock and awe.
I feel that. I guess, like, the closest, like, experience I had to that is Hillary Clinton. She spoke at our graduation.
Really?
Yeah, so she was our commencement speaker, and she actually went to Yale. Her and Bill did. That's what they
I didn't know they went to Yale.
Yeah. So, but, like, hearing her, so she was the speaker when she was running for president. Well, right after she lost. So she had, like, jokes and, like, little sly comments that she made, but, like, having her, like, so I sat in the left side of the aisle, so, like, I was right next to her. She walked by, and I was like, oh, this is crazy. Even though she didn't win, but, like, she was the first lady.
Yeah.
But, like, it's an experience to be around, like, political people who, like, are known across the world. It's definitely not your everyday thing that you come across. So
Exactly.
I get what you're saying.
And I think situations like mine and yours, I feel like you grind, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like you didn't go through a hard time too, because being an athlete at an Ivy League school. But I feel like when we go through the things that we went through, I feel like that graduation ceremony is just icing on the cake too.
Yeah.
It's like, here, the least we can do is do this for you. Like,
Right.
we'll give you Hillary Clinton, we'll give you the president. Like, the least we can do is just show you the respect that y'all have earned. And I think that's so dope.
I feel that. So since you graduated, after you took your little break and you did your nap and stuff, so what's life like and what you doing? What are you doing right now in Mississippi?
So after graduation, we all get 60 days of leave. So
That's not bad.
yeah, so so people take that time to travel, do a whole bunch of things. I didn't really want to travel because my brother was going to the academy in July, and my youngest brother was about to be like an only child, so I kind of wanted to spend that time with the family, which I loved. I really loved that. And so anyways, we got 6 days of leave, and August 2nd was my report date to Keesler. So my job is a cyberspace operator. So right now, from August until it's looking around like March or April, I'm gonna be in training at Keesler, try to learn my job, like learn the ins and outs. So far, we've been, it's basically like getting a computer science degree within a year. So I've kind of been doing a whole bunch of computer stuff, trying to
like coding and stuff like that.
Yeah, coding. Networking, trying to figure out like how networks work, how basically the internet operates, how the computer connects to the internet. It's like a whole bunch of technical stuff like that.
That's one thing. If I would have had more time, or like would have been able to do like a double major, I would have done computer science.
Really?
Yeah, it seems interesting to me, but it doesn't seem like a hobby or something you could just pick up. It's really you got to be really dedicated to it.
Well, I mean, it depends because I have a friend. He played on a football team and then got cut. But once he got cut, he was like, okay, what do I do with my time now? He literally started YouTubing how to code.
Oh, wow.
And now he makes like a few grand a week just by coding people's websites and making it. So it's like, it is definitely a hobby you can kind of, I don't want to say pick up like, oh, I'm going to just go code real quick. I mean, he put a lot of time and effort into learning it. But like, people, I mean, usually some of the things you can do now, you don't really need a degree.
That's definitely true. So, yeah, I feel that. Like you were saying, talking about GPAs, the kids who did computer science that year had the lowest GPAs in the school, but I guess once you graduate with an Ivy League degree, you can code like
exactly.
Once you
Everyone's like, oh no, you had a 2.5, like I can't.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think if you could prove that you can do it, then you can do it. Because another thing with our GPAs, it wasn't necessarily like we weren't dumb by any means. Because it was like, for example, I majored in business management, but we took so many core classes. So like our core classes started off with Calc 1, Calc 2, Physics 1, Physics 2, Chem 1, Chem 2, Biology, a whole bunch of history.
So y'all could have gone to med school.
Yeah, I'm saying, look, we took aeronautical engineering, intro to that, intro to astronautical engineering, intro to like electrical engineering, intro to mechanical engineering. So like we took all these classes. Yeah. And sometimes you're just like, bro, why am I in astronautical engineering right now? Like I don't care about any of this. But it's dope though because it makes me really well rounded. To where when I talk to different people in different fields, it's like, oh wait, I know what you're talking about. Like, I was getting work done on my car, and I had just taken that electrical engineering class, and he was talking about the electronics and stuff about it, and I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, so my ultimate goal was to go to like an engineering firm and try to work business, do a business side of that. But like kind of taking it one day at a time, trying to figure out like what I want to do after this. After I get out.
I feel you. So, like I guess like with the climate of like, I guess like climates, not weather, but like culture climates change over the years. But like, would you I guess recommend or like encourage people to join like the military or go to like academies and things like that right now?
So when you say climate, are we talking about like race, or are we talking about like
anything, like just
the craziness going on in the world?
Yeah.
So I would, now this isn't just my bias. Like I've heard Army people say this and Navy people say this. If you're gonna go in the military, go Air Force. Like depending on what you want to do. If you want to go boots on the ground, then go Army, go Navy, Marines, do all that stuff. But I feel like the Air Force is a good gig. And I would definitely recommend the academy. Like if you can do the Air Force and you're qualified, I would say do the academy, because like when you're enlisted, I mean, not only is the pay not as good, but it's like I don't want to, because I don't know how to say this without, because I don't want to, dump on the enlisted, because like they're hard workers and stuff, but like
it's just like it's like levels, like
exactly, it's levels, and I feel like if you do the academy, it's like not only are you in the Air Force, but you have like an Ivy League equivalent education, so it's like why not, and then you can get paid to go and do all that stuff, so I would definitely recommend it. But the only thing I will say is just be prepared.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ultimately, and it's crazy to think about, because I'll be walking, like if I'm in uniform, I'll be walking somewhere, people have thanked me for my service, but I've also heard people like, thank you for your sacrifice. Yeah. And it kind of freaks me out, because if you think about it, I ultimately did sign up to, if in the opportunity, like I would give my life for the country. Like I would.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah, like I'm in a situation to where if I get or go overseas, like I can actually die, like for this country, and I think I battle with that sometimes, trying to think, is it worth it? But ultimately, I think it is, because not only am I doing some things that are good for me, but I feel like I'm setting examples for those who can come after me, like my brothers and those who graduate from St. Aug, those from New Orleans. But ultimately, it's like you look at things differently, because we always talk mess about, the president. We always talk mess about, and when I say we, I mean like just people in general. Like we always say a whole bunch of different things. We always do anything that's like crazy stuff, whatever. But it's like, why are we able to do that? Yeah. Like, how are we able to do that? How are we able to just go out and just dog the commander in chief? And that's because the military has literally laid down their lives so you can have that freedom to do so. Right. So, I mean, when you think of it like that, I think, why not fight? Like, why not fight for our freedom, fight for the rights that we have, as a country. So,
obviously going to the academy, any of the academies is like a different route. Would you ever, I guess with your kids, when you have them, like encourage them, if say they don't get into the academy, but they still want to pursue, would you still like encourage them to enlist?
It depends on the options at that time. I feel like if you have, I don't know, if you have a full ride to a great school, I would encourage you to go to college first. Yeah. And then if you want to join, do that. But I'm a big education person. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if I would never tell them, don't, because I can't remember I think Pat Tillman. You know who that is?
Sounds familiar.
I think that's his name. But he was an Arizona Cardinal, I believe. And after 9/11, he gave up the NFL life.
Okay, yeah, I know you're talking about, yeah.
And then wound up dying over there. So it's like, you gave up the NFL millions of dollars to go fight for your country. So I feel like if you have a calling like that, who am I to say you can't go? Yeah. So it all depends on the situation. But I think as far as the academy life, though, I wouldn't, I've seen kids at the academy who were forced. Like, you're going to the academy, like, you're going, and they either didn't finish, got kicked out, or like only a few of them made it through. And I feel like you can't force something like that. Like,
you said you get kicked out. Is it like, I mean, obviously it's strict and like there's rules, but like, is getting kicked out like I guess you see like on people who be in boarding schools, like getting kicked out for stupid things. Is it hard to get kicked out?
No. It is very easy to get kicked out, and so like there's so many ways to get kicked out, like either academics, honor. So like, I'm not sure how it works at regular schools, but we have an honor code. It's like, we will not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate anyone among us who does. So if you lie, steal, or do anything like that, then I technically, like, say you lie about whatever, like something stupid or something serious, I can go bring that up and say, you know what, like, Tim just lied about this. And then we'll bring you up on the honor board. If found guilty, you'll get on the honor probation, which is 6 months restriction to the base. So you can't leave at all for 6 months. Wow. And so like, you can't leave for 6 months, and if you break your probation, then you get kicked out.
So you said like a lie, how serious of a lie? So, well, I guess not serious, but like how insignificant could it be?
Okay, so I'm gonna give 2 examples. One's serious and one's not. Usually like people have lied about like cheating on tests. So they've cheated on tests, and or they've like scratched off their their military ID to make it look like they're 21 or something like that. So that's obviously egregious.
Yeah.
But a few months before graduation, there was this kid. He got put up on honor probation for peanut butter because he
stole it.
That's not funny, but
it's not like it's going to be hilarious.
So basically, you have to meet the weight requirements in order to graduate. So he was.
What's the weight requirement?
I don't know because I never really had to do it, but it was more like depending on how tall you are, your waist measurement has to be a certain size, and you have to have a certain amount of body fat and stuff like that to graduate. So a whole bunch of offensive linemen, as soon as the football season's over, the whole spring, they're just in the gym trying to get cut and loose. So
see, I feel like people. I always thought that the football players just got a pass, but I guess.
Well, yeah, they get a pass until they their senior year. After that, or if you get cut in between them, then you gotta.
Wow.
Yeah, you gotta lose it. But anyway, so this kid was on the weight probation or whatever. I forgot the actual name of it. And another guy came. They both were seniors. So another guy came in and was like, "Hey, I can help you with your I can help you lose weight. I can help you eat better." And he was like, "Okay." So he literally came in with a box and he was like, "I'm throwing all this stuff away." So he was throwing, his candy away, his snacks. And it was a jar of peanut butter. He was like, "This is unhealthy peanut butter. You cannot eat this anymore," and threw it away. So he came in like a week later, and this is sad because it shows you the stuff that happens at my school. But he came in a week later, and the peanut butter was on his desk. And the guy asked him, he was like, "Do you have any unhealthy food in here?" And he said, "No." He was like, "I'm gonna ask you again. Do you have any unhealthy food in here?" And the guy was like, "No." So then he turned around, left the room, and came back, and then the peanut butter was gone. And he was like, "What happened to the unhealthy food?" He was like, "What unhealthy food?" So he looked behind his desk, and he was hiding the peanut butter behind his desk. And he was like, "So you lied to me. You said you had no unhealthy food in here, but here's the peanut butter that I told you was unhealthy." So then he went to his AOC, which is the air officer commanding, which is our commander for each squadron, and basically brought him up on honor for that. And he went to an honor board. My roommate was on the honor. It's like a jury. He was on a jury for it.
Yeah.
And this was literally a week before graduation. And the dude was I'm really up for honor for peanut butter. This is so crazy. So they found him not guilty.
Oh.
But they still, because his AOC was really you know what? I still don't know. My conscience isn't clear. So we're going to have to do another investigation. So the screwed up part about this story is that when we went up for graduation, so we walked up the stage, and before you get on the stage, they give you your degree, and you walk up, shake everybody's hand, and leave. He didn't find out until he got on stage that he was graduating. So they were like, if you're graduating, then we'll give you a degree. If you're not, then we won't give you one.
So if he didn't get one, he was gonna have to get out of the line.
Yes.
Over peanut butter, I'd have been sick, dude.
Oh, what? And it's crazy because our biggest thing, and don't get me wrong, not all cadets are like that, but we're just
What you got some that are like that?
Yeah, but it's just why? We're
they got people like that everywhere.
Yeah, we're literally trying to all graduate together, and
right.
You're really trying to do this right now. So it's tough, man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But no, it's a hard place to kind of just keep your nose under, because every day you're like, I hope I'm not in the wrong situation to where I get caught up with
some foolishness.
Exactly, because it's so easy to get kicked out. I mean, obviously, because like I said before, you come in with 1,200, graduate with a little bit under 9.
Yeah.
So
it's 300 people
easily, but we do lose a lot of people during basic though too. So
what would you say, the most fun experience besides graduation, the most fun experience was over the 5 years?
I think aside from going out with friends, I would say rugby.
Really?
Rugby was one hell of a ride. Honestly, I can't describe how much fun that was.
Really?
Yeah, that was so. But it might be different for me because I went from playing punter, kind of stationary position, to where I've always been fast. If I given the opportunity, I can do something. So I was able to actually use my athleticism and like do different things that I've never done before.
Mm.
And then on top of that, we went to Hawaii. You know, there was I mean, we got smacked because they really play rugby.
The Polynesians, they get down.
They're not playing when it comes to that, but like we went to Hawaii. The team went to New Zealand, where the birth, like
that's where it's from.
Exactly. So New Zealand, you know, Britain. So it's just like rugby opened so many doors, and it also was like a good release to where you just had a long day. I just I go out, I'm just ready to hit. Like we just ready to get down there, hit, and then the dudes are genuinely like good dudes. Like I love the rugby environment because it's an environment I've never seen before. To where, like football, I only played 1 year in college, so I don't know how it is throughout the 4 years. But it's just it's always like that I hate you mentality. Like you hate each other before the game. You really hate each other during the game.
Yeah. And
you hate each other after the game.
You talking about like the other team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about like you hate the other team.
Yeah.
And it's like for rugby, I was like, wow, y'all, we don't talk mess during the game.
Really?
Like they don't talk any mess during the game. Like if you get hit really really hard, they'll help you up. Hey, you good, bro? Like all right, we're straight. And then after every game, there's always a social. So like after every game, you'll barbecue with the team or you'll go get drinks with the team. Like there's always something to do.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is a dope environment. Like this is just dope. And you would think it would be worse than that since it's a
contact.
And it's just a gritty sport.
Yeah.
But like there's all of them. I've never met a team that I've absolutely there was one team I absolutely hated. But other than that, it was just like this is a great experience.
That's surprising. I thought it was like very.
People look at me like, oh my god, like you so crazy for doing that. I mean, I've had some injuries, like some head injuries too. But it's just like, I mean,
it's still fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we talked about a whole lot of stuff. I mean, once you finish training at Chin right now, I guess like everyone has like a 5-year goal, but like where do you see yourself like, I guess in 10 years, like when you're like in it and like you be like you're saying to yourself like this is what I'm doing, this is what I plan to do for a while.
So that's tough because I honestly don't know.
You don't
know? I think I have these goals of mine, like, you know, I want to have different properties. Like I want to have, like I know my goals like that financially, but it's crazy because like I have a 5-year commitment. So after that, it's like if I stay in, then it's kind of easy to know where I'll be in 10 years because I just kind of follow the road. But if I get out, it's like I've never really been on my own before, if that makes sense. Like I never, like my job is taken care of, my health care is taken care of. All this,
like a pretty steady path.
Exactly, everything's taken care of and it's been taken care of. So it's like once I get out into the real world, like I kind of don't really know how that works yet. So all I know is 10 years from now, I want to be financially free.
Right.
Like I want to be able to just do whatever I want, not have finances be a problem. I want to have a few properties by then. And I want to be able to influence at least 3 kids from St. Aug to go to the academy. Whether it's West Point, Air Force, or Navy, I want at least 3 kids to go there. Because like 2 years ago, I spoke at I just like went with a program called Grassroots from the academy. We went to St. Aug and some other schools in New Orleans to talk, and I went to Jesuit, St. Aug, I think West Jeff, like some other schools like that, and the most interested were the kids from St. Aug.
Really?
Yes, but it was just like, oh my God, you can go to school for free, like you can do this and that, and like still be okay. Like what is? I thought everything was just like the army. I thought you just go to war. I was like, no, bro. Like you can actually.
I'm telling you, like having like visible people who've been through it is like makes a huge difference for people like that.
It's just tough though too because one thing I didn't, and not to criticize St. Aug because I love it, but like at the graduation just now they were celebrating like a high average of like a 24 in the ACT.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, where are they gonna go with a 24 in the ACT? Like.
Yeah.
And it's just I want to kind of, and it's so hard to change that mindset, but I want to go to St. Aug and be like, this is not going to suffice.
Right.
Like y'all are celebrating 2.0s and stuff like this. Y'all will go.
Just need a reality check.
Exactly. Like I want them to be able to see like there's more. It's not just like the Tim Dawsons and David Bartholomews of the world. Like we're not some special breed. We just work hard.
Yeah, it's basically all it was.
Exactly. Like raised right, work hard. So it's just like I want to get it in their heads that they can sit there and grind through it and say, you know what, like I may not be the smartest, but I work harder than the smartest person in the room. So,
I mean, hard work gets you there 90% of the time.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
that's really all that matters. All right, so I like to end the podcast with the 3 random facts. Being in the Air Force, you know the day that the Air Force was founded, right? No. So
that's sad. I think I know the year, but I don't want to say it and then be wrong.
It's all good. So it's September 18th, 1947. But the random fact is that the Air Force and the CIA were founded at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, on the same day.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Second fact I have is the average person will spend 6 months of their life waiting at a red light. That's ridiculous.
Bro, I'll be sitting there like, damn, I really want to run this, bro. Like, especially when it's late at night and you just be the only one, you be like, this is crazy.
I feel that. What's some other one? Okay, and the last one. A bolt of lightning contains enough energy to toast 100,000 slices of bread. So
where you get these facts?
I just be looking them up. Use my sources. But yeah, so that's it for Crew Talk episode 4. I want to thank David for coming on, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.